Loneliness has been something that has plagued most of my life, and it is a heavy burden on me currently in this stage in my life. Loneliness is something that I continuously grapple with, even if I'm around people. Even if I'm around people. Because I'm still learning how to let people love me. And I'm learning how to let people enjoy being around me. Right? Believe it or not, but it was a process for me just to accept that people are allowed to enjoy being around me. Because for the longest time, I thought, oh, I'm just this like no one really wants me around. I'm always like so weird. And it really is like, no, people, I've gotten so much evidence throughout my life that people want you around, bro. Like, what's your problem? Like, you're the only one being weird about it. Now that you're being weird about it, now we're kind of like, okay, like, what's up with you? Like, do we want you around? But before then, it wasn't even a question. So, loneliness is something that I think men are struggling with way more now. I've even heard of it being referred to as the loneliness epidemic. It seems like it's of epidemic proportions. I could speak from experience that the past 6 years have been especially lonely. And the past year has been even more, the loneliness has been even more pronounced, right? It's been the worst it's ever been. With loneliness, you get this sense of not having a reference point. And because we are humans and we are social creatures, not having a reference point can start to eat away at your sense of self, right? It can start to eat away at your sense of self. To the point where you begin feeling like you don't, like what you're working on really isn't valuable. And again, I'm speaking from experience where I'm a musician. I make music, right? I write, mix, master, produce, record my own music. And the more lonely I get, the more I start to feel like, dang, no one even really cares about this music. You know, I mean, I never really considered stopping making music, but I've considered not making music my career a few times. I don't really question it much nowadays because I know that I'm here for the long run. But, you know, definitely sometimes it gets lonely enough to the point where I feel, wow, will I ever feel like I'm in good company? You know? So I make an active effort to go outside. Even if it's just one day a week. And by go outside, I mean not just go outside, right? Clearly I go outside, but like go outside in the sense of around people. Or even just in a natural setting, right? A beach, a park, something like that. I make it a point to do that once a week, minimum. Because without that, I start to lose perspective and start to feel like my existence is really not that important. And in the grand scheme, you could say, well, that's because it's true. You're not that important, especially if I have yet to build myself up to the type of man I truly want to be. And, you know, the one with as much influence and as much power as I truly want to be. I forgot where I was going with that. I think I should stop because I'm sleepy right now. It's nearly 4 a.m. and I probably should go back to sleep. Yeah, what was the topic again? Oh, loneliness. Yeah, loneliness is one of those things that it's like the bane of my existence, pretty much. You know, I go to work lonely, eat breakfast lonely. I go outside to a bar, a park, a pool table, or a pool hall, I should say, lonely. Right, I'm listening to music lonely. And the loneliness doesn't feel as heavy every single time. Sometimes I'm completely okay with being alone. Sometimes I prefer being alone. But what I do know is that humans aren't meant to be alone. And this is coming from someone who actively refuses to build human connection just for its own sake. I feel like perhaps human connection, you know what? I actually just came to a realization. Wow, you captured it in real time. Perhaps human connection for its own sake is the point. And I think part of the reason why I have kept myself so lonely is because I always thought about, what do I get out of it? What do I get out of it? What do I get out of it? What do I get out? And it's like, sometimes what you get out of it is a 30-second conversation. Like, is that okay, bro? Is that okay? Can you accept that it was a 30-second conversation and that's it? Right? Are you so self-obsessed that you refuse to just accept a 30-second conversation and have that be that, and possibly never see this person again? And it's okay. You know? And especially for those of y'all who, especially men who have like gone through a very sharp glow up and self-improvement phase where you hit the gym, you're going to work, you're working on a business, you're training perhaps martial arts. So like a lot of that is either alone or just very focused, right? So it's not a lot of leisure there. I think martial arts will probably be the thing that is more based on human interaction than anything else, unless like you go to work and you interact with humans there, but it's still within the context of work. And martial arts is still within the context of martial arts, but I feel like it's much more free. I definitely enjoy interacting with people during my martial arts classes, even if we're sparring, right? We're sparring, they get a few good ones in, I get a few good ones in, and then at the end, like, we just dap up and that's all good, you know? I think accepting human connection for its own sake is possibly the single best thing that I've allowed in my life. And I know previously I was saying I refused it, but now that I really look at my life evidence, I'm seeing that no, me going out alone, me going out to parties and which I don't really like parties, by the way, but me going out to bars and pool tables and beaches and parks and things like that, that was my attempt to really fill my cup and see where am I in reference to other people. And that's so important to accept that about yourself. That, hey, you're a human. You're not meant to just endlessly grind by yourself, endlessly self-improve. You are meant to be out here, part of a community. And I can't say I've found this community completely. I haven't. And hopefully these videos lead to this type of community building. I just really wanted to share that for anyone else feeling lonely. That I know it's easier said than done, but sometimes the best thing you can do is to stop working, stop trying to improve yourself for, like, let's say a day out of the week, or even an evening out of the week. Literally refuse everything that you need to do unless you have children. If you have children, all bets are off. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. You can handle that however you handle that. But for the most part, refuse almost everything that you have going. And be around people just for its own sake. Even if you don't interact, just being around them, it will nourish you in a certain way. I hope this message finds you well. You don't need to be a lone wolf forever. You can do this.